a whole bunch of celebrities and all of these people tweeting the hashtag bring back our girls. Let me tell you something. When you have all at one time a bunch of A-list celebrities all at once backing some movement, that's already a red flag. Whenever you have a bunch of major celebrities all at one time backing a movement, that's an immediate red flag. Because that means that the movement is starting from the top. The movement is starting from a corporate perspective. See, most movements, if it's a legitimate movement, it starts from the grassroots level. It starts from the bottom, and then eventually it reaches the top. Like the Trayvon Martin, that was a grassroots thing with people trying to fight for justice for Trayvon. That was a grassroots thing. It started from the bottom, and then it went up to the top. But when you immediately, all of a sudden, you got Rihanna, Puffy, Drake, all of these people, Sean Penn, tweeting some shit about some hashtag or a movement, that is red flag number one. That's what they tried to do with Coney. Y'all remember 2012, just out the blue, one day, everybody started tweeting about Coney. Get Coney. Everybody started tweeting that shit one day. All the celebrities, Rihanna, all of these people start talking about some Joseph Kony. Now, I did a couple of shows about that back in 2012, pointing out the red flag that was. Now, that movement fell because the people they put together this little mini documentary, put it on YouTube, talking about how we need to get Coney. They had all of this old footage, and what happened is that people like me and other people started calling out that old bogus-ass footage they were showing about these poor kids who were kidnapped by Joseph Kony. If you go back and look at my Twitter, my Facebook, all that, I prove, and I'm not saying I'm responsible for none of this shit, but I was showing how that footage was not only old, those so-called rebel kids were grown. Them kids are grown as hell now. They ain't in the jungle no more with rifles and all that shit. All of that was just propaganda. And then on top of that, the dude who was behind the whole film, his ass had a nervous breakdown and he was in San Diego running around naked with his dick out. Literally. Look that up if y'all think I'm exaggerating. So that whole movement, people saw it for the farce it was. They were going to use that as a way to get U.S. troops over there in the Congo, over there in Africa, to set up shop. See, the thing is, they've been trying to get over in Africa, the U.S. forces, to set up shop because they got resources over there. Now, if they just go over there and just take over, that's not going to be a good look. So they have to go with the pretext. They have to create a certain level of propaganda to justify going over there. You understand what I'm saying? And whenever you see a movement coming from the top, celebrities tweeting at the same time about some type of issue over in Africa, whatever, that's a red flag. Second red flag is just what the caller said. Are we really going to believe that all of a sudden, all these people over here give two shits about some black women 15,000 miles away? Oh, look, it's horrible that those sisters got kidnapped. Look, I'm not justifying that, but do you really think the people over here give two shits about 200 black women 15,000 miles away? There are black women who go missing over here all the time. There are black women over here that go missing, get kidnapped, get shot in the face like Renisha McBride. If you want to start a movement, you can start a movement with these people legally killing black folks over here. If you wanted to start a movement. So what's this really about? I don't give a fuck about no black woman there or here. So what's this really about? I mean, just look at the media over here. They don't give two shits about a black woman. All the negative imagery of black women that they have, they show negative images of black women in movies, negative images of black women on television. So all of a sudden you care about these 200 black women 15,000 miles away. Red damn flag. Red flag. And the thing is, not only that, black women even blame for the crime rate. When they talk about Chicago, they like to blame that on black mothers having all these bastard babies and they ain't got no fathers. A lot of the people on the right, they blame a lot of black women for all this stuff. But the thing is, like I said, that's a major red flag when you got a whole bunch of people in the dominant society getting around a movement or being concerned about something happening with black folks in Africa. Let's just be very real. Let's just be very real. Let's just be very, very real. So now they're talking about these black girls that got kidnapped from over here in Nigeria from this school. Now, if you read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, I talk about how in this book he breaks down how they set up shop, they put these puppet governments in these third world countries, and these politicians are really working for the West. Western powers put in a lot of these politicians, and they secretly work for the West. They work for Western bankers. So when these girls went missing, the word is the Nigerian government knew that somebody was coming to get at those girls. A military base was not too far from where that school was, so they already had a heads up. So that's another red flag. So now the Nigerian so-called government, they quote unquote look the other way, it seems. It seems. So we got to understand this. When certain people are put into power, they're put into power or they're allowed to be in power by Westerners. Because a lot of times when you have, good luck, Jonathan, when you have a lot of those politicians who say, well, hey, I don't want no Western influence in my country, what happens is that shit starts to mysteriously get bombed or they get killed or hit up in a coup backed by, again, Western powers. So a lot of them have to go along with the program. You got to understand this. When certain West African countries, when they wanted to get the French out of there, when they said, hey, look, we want to be independent, no more imperialism for us, it's been good, but you can go. And France was like, really? You want us to leave? And they were like, well, yeah, we want you to leave. We just want to be independent. We want to do our own thing, just kind of sell our own little resources and just, stand on our own 2 feet. So what happened? The French government and the French bankers, they were like, okay, well, look, you see all these nice buildings and roads we put up when we were in charge? Where we go, those go too. Those buildings got to go. We're going to tear these streets up. We're going to tear these roads up. We're going to tear these buildings up. We're going to tear up your infrastructure. So we go, all of the shit we built, that goes too. And they did that. And then when other African countries said the same thing, like, hey, we want to be independent, France said, hey, well, look, y'all saw what I did to those guys over there. Do you really want us to leave? Then certain African countries cut these little backroom deals. They said, okay, well, we'll be independent on paper, but France and all these Western powers still control their resources. See, we got to understand how the game goes. So we see these so-called black African countries in turmoil, and it looks like they just don't have it together. That ain't the truth. They're controlled by Western powers behind closed doors. They're still fucking those folks over financially. I know France, as a matter of fact, France won't even let certain African countries get any kind of military help from other people. They can't go to other people for military help. Because what happens is that the Western powers, they will back one of these guerrilla groups or militia groups to come in there and start bombing shit on the low. So we got to understand how that neo-colonialism works. The book Confessions of an Economic Hitman broke all of that down. So the thing is, when you have the Good Lucks and all these dudes, they're still controlled by Western powers. Don't think for a minute Good Luck and those guys didn't know that these dudes were coming in there to kidnap them damn girls. It's 200 fucking girls and they just kidnapped them overnight. Fuck out of here. And the Boko Haram, if you look at all they've been, for years, they've been talking about how these people, this organization is CIA backed. That's not even a secret no more. Look at the WikiLeaks wires and all that stuff, the cables from WikiLeaks. Boko Haram is CIA based, CIA backed. Yeah, Western education is simple. Really? And the Boko Haram, that's some shit from central casting. It looks like literally they cast these cats from a booking agency or something. So now these 200 girls, they go missing. Nigeria's like, oh no, our girls are missing. We need help. Can America help us? Then this terrorist group put out a video, which, look at the video. Have you seen the Boko Haram video? They up there with the guns, all in the video with guns, got on their military outfits. Now look, those are red flags right there. They're standing in front of a damn military tank. Now let's use logic here. These countries are very poor. These are very poor countries. People, a lot of villages don't even have running water. A lot of them don't have sanitation. But these motherfuckers got $1 million tank in the back of them. Really? You can't get running water. You ain't got a sink, faucet, toilet. You live in a village. The village is poor. Can't grow crops. But you got access to a multi-million-dollar tank. Really? Okay. Do you know how much them tanks cost? Do you know how much a damn military tank costs? You're standing in front of a fucking tank. Those guns, all those AKs and those rocket launchers, those are expensive. Those are not cheap. So, how you get access to that? How you get access to that? I mean, you don't have a toilet, but you got $1 million fucking tank standing in front of you. You got $15,000, $20,000 rifles and guns. And it's like, and now you're doing a video in front of the tank. It's like somebody, they filming it and they're like, okay, look, okay, Hakeem, we're gonna need you to stand in front of the tank, put some more, we need you to be more niggerish, okay? Can you really buck your eyes a little bit when you talk to really scare them? You know, it looked like a movie. Which it is, basically. It's a fucking movie. It's a scripted ass scenario. You got guns, hundreds of thousands of dollars of weaponry, but you live in a village where ain't no toilet. Really? Come on. This is such an orchestrated farce. So now they say, okay, we need the U.S. to come in here and save us. So the U.S. goes in there, and all of a sudden the U.S., they're arresting people from Boko Haram. It's really that easy? So the Nigerian army couldn't arrest the Boko Haram dudes? So the U.S. just ran in there and all of a sudden they just got the guys overnight. Really? So now while the U.S. is over there, it's going to be like, okay, look, we're protecting you. And, ooh, what's that? You got oil? I didn't know you had oil, Nigeria. So now they're setting up shop to get that oil, dude. They're setting up shop to get that oil. The name of the game is to not let those Eastern countries become superpowers. But again, this is a farce, man. I'm not buying this, and you shouldn't buy it either. That's just a way for them. They've been trying to get up in Africa to set up shop, to get a hold of those resources, because now a lot of African countries, they want to be independent. They really want to be independent. They want to get rid of all of the imperialism. They want to get the Western powers out. They want to get the Western powers out, but again, they're controlling the strings from behind the scenes. They're playing imperial chess. And what we need to do, man, we got to start thinking as a group. We really got to think and operate as a group, as an African global nation. That's one of the keys, because in Africa, what happens is that Africa is so damn tribal. One tribe on this side don't care less about what's happening to that other so-called tribe over there. And this is how people come in and just really tear our shit up. They come in and pit people against each other and just kind of run amok because we don't think as a group. We got to go in and just say, hey, look, we are African people. We are one African nation globally. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to stop this. But we keep having these little damn frugal ass, insignificant tribal beefs. That's why they can go down to South Africa and take over, because other people in Africa are like, hey, that's their problem. That's the South. That's the Tutsis problem. That's the Ubuntu problem. Whatever. So we got to get off that divide and conquer thing. But again, there has to be a stronger military force where people have to say, hey, look, we're not going to let ourselves be infiltrated like that. We got to be in a position to protect ourselves. This is where we need an economic base. We got to get an economic base. And again, politics is not the move, because they can put anybody in political power. They put these people in political power, and they got to do the bidding of Western powers. And again, we got to, even with Gaddafi, when Gaddafi said, okay, we're going to get Western powers out of here, that's when they become a target. So the thing is, the thing is, every time there might be one African nation who stands up and says, hey, look, Western powers, you got to get out of here. We're on our own. And the minute they say that, they become labeled as terrorists, just like Gaddafi. The minute Gaddafi said, okay, we got to get Africa unified, bam, he became a target. Go back to the 70s. If y'all remember Idi Amin, the West was working with him for a long time. Idi Amin turned on him. He said, look, we're going to get all you Westerners. Y'all got to get up out of here. They turned on him. That's why they have movies about him like the Last King of Scotland and all these propaganda movies about Idi Amin. You dig? So when the Africans start to reject Western influence, they become targets. So this is why we have to be unified. We all got to be on the same page. Just Mugabe. Mugabe said, look, we're on our own. We don't need you here. We're going to do our thing. Now they're going to try to make him the bad guy. Oh yeah, they made, and the stuff they made up about Idi Amin, talking about he's a cannibal and all that. All that was a bunch of bullshit. So don't believe the hype, man. We got to stop believing the hype. And see, black folks, we believe anything anybody says negative about another black person. That's another thing we got to stop doing. When a black person gets thrown under the bus, you start believing it. Yeah, the Last King of Scotland is fiction. It is fiction. And that's very interesting too, that they would make because they based it off this book, and they made up a whole bunch of stuff. Because when it comes to telling the truth, they can't tell the whole truth, so they gotta embezzle, and make it all fake and unreal. Oh, Forrest Whitaker was good. Yeah, he played the hell out of him. He was good. But whenever somebody in the dominant society, when they say something negative about black folks, other black folks are real quick to believe them. So we really embellish. What did I say? I was supposed to say embellish. What did I say? Thanks a lot, CJ. Like, so people had already hit me up talking about buying Hidden Colors 3. Look, it ain't out yet, and that's another thing. Because when we start showing the trailer for Hidden Colors 2 last year, people start buying 1 thinking that they were buying Hidden Colors 2. Hidden Colors 3 ain't for sale yet. Please don't try to buy it yet. It's not for sale yet. I'm already getting people hitting me up with private messages trying to buy it. It ain't out yet. It'll be out in another month. We got another month to go. It'll be out, family. Just put it up on your social networking sites and your pages and all that stuff. Oh, I said embezzle. I mean, I meant embellish. That's right. Okay, I said embezzle. I meant embellish. Okay. I said embezzle. My bad. You heard about the 93 OC? Yeah, man, that was horrible. That sister got shot, man. And we got our elderly getting killed, and we black folks just sitting around can't do shit about it. This is why we had an economic base. This is where your economic base is very important because, see, you got 2 choices. Either you're going to have a gang of heart where you're going to be just like those cats who went up there in Nevada who said, look, you ain't going to fuck with one of our own. Either you're going to have heart like that, which black folks do not have no more, or you get an economic base. One of the 2. You get an economic base and say, hey, look, this motherfucker is not going to have a job. The people who put this officer in position, the police chief, you're not going to work here next year. If you're letting people get shot in our community under their watch, not going to happen. That shit can stop. Our grandmothers and our babies getting shot. You got 2 ways of doing it. You can do it with heart, or you can do it economically. I saw that the dude, the black NFL player, he was kissing his white boyfriend after he got drafted. Yeah, they made sure to show that.